everybody. Happy Friday. Nice to have you all here with us. And yes, you have reached Having Fun with J&J. However, we're missing
I am not a
Jeanette.
J.
Today it's only Having Fun with Jay and Sarah. Jeanette is on the move, and I know she's supposed to be listening, so hopefully we're going to give a shout out to Jeanette. Happy trails, honey. We're waiting for you to get to your destination safely. She's moving from Texas to Florida, and I'm very jealous because she's going to be living across from a lake, and I'm still in the middle of Texas. Our lakes are, yeah.
A little bit different. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
So today, though, we do have a special guest. Sarah is a longtime friend and co-conspirator in the world of women small businesses. She is a crafter. She does painting and does show them your bottles so they believe.
Oh, this is just the one on my desk. Yeah.
See, she does little paintings and she's crafting for all of her life, but her specialty is something that women crafters don't really understand that they actually need help with. So she is a coach, she's a consultant, she's a guru, I'm going to call her. Woo!
I'm getting some titles today.
That got you, didn't it, girl? So it's really important not only to showcase our crafters and what they're doing, but it's also very important for us to provide some support. This is what Jeanette and I really know, that it's a very solitary business. Even if you're out there and you're on pop-ups and you're working your products and you're talking to vendors, it's basically you. And you get inside your head, and that little, Jeanette and I call it the little bitch voice gets in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And you start thinking you're not all that, your products suck, you've got no clients, the husband's there, the kids are there, the dogs are there, the cats are there.
And we've all been there.
Everybody has been there. But when we're by ourselves, we talk ourselves out of things.
Yes.
So Sarah and I are going to talk a little bit about that part of being a small businesswoman, being a small business entrepreneur, and being a small business crafter or artisan. There's a layer there of things that we are. And so we're going to get into it. We've got to have a whole half hour. And I think we're going to have some insights for you. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you take notes, guys, because it's really important. You're not going to get this anywhere else. And other people out there don't quite understand who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. So, Sarah.
Yes.
Let loose with, tell us a little bit about you and what your companies, what your business is about, and we can get started.
Sure. So I'm gonna narrow down what I do into kind of one sentence here. I help people become the leaders they were meant to be. So that's a leader of your own business, a leader in your own life, whatever you're trying to accomplish at that moment. I help you become that leader you are meant to be. And so that little voice that you guys talk about, it's always going to be there. Okay. Like it is. I can't tell you it's going to go away. What I can do is help you talk back to it.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
I want you to picture it's, your bratty teenage daughter, right? And you just gotta, what are you going to say back to her? You know what I mean? Like everything you ever wanted to, you now get to say it because it's in your head. So I help people walk through those processes because most people, the barriers they have to be successful are in their own head. It has nothing to do with your skill set. It has nothing to do with how much social media you have. All those things can be learned, developed, whatever. But until you learn to talk back to that voice in your head, yeah. And so how do you do that though? How do you build that confidence? So the first thing I want to talk about today is to find your community. It's something that you and I were actually talking about before the cameras went on. We all try to find a community, right? Like if you're a painter, you find other painters. If you're a coach, you find other coaches. If you're a realtor, you find other realtors. And that's great to like commiserate over I had a really bad experience and you're going to understand, or I
Right.
had a really great day and you're going to understand. But those people cannot help you with anything but possibly referrals. But you need to build the group a little bit larger. Find people that are building different things than you so that you can learn. Find people that are building um, different types of companies so you can see other people's barriers. And I'm bringing that up because a lot of people join Facebook groups where it's just a bunch of coaches or a bunch of artists in one group, and they wonder why nobody's buying their stuff. Well, because they're trying to sell their own stuff, right? You have to find the people that aren't in your group to sell to. And so finding that community is about knowing your main customer, right? Knowing that client avatar, which is, I hate that terminology, but it is a business term that's being thrown out to
Yes.
find your avatar. I keep thinking about like the movie Avatar or like, making your little face on things, but it doesn't matter. It's avatar is your client personality. Like, what is that personality, the type of person you're going after? And you had said you were a realtor before. I 100% you could look at a house and tell me who was going to buy that house.
Right.
Not, I'm not talking uh every single detail, but you're like, yup, it's going to be people with two kids and they probably have a dog. And, this house is more of a
Well,
cat house.
if
I
you
don't,
go into a house and it doesn't have a bathtub, you're not going to sell it to a couple with a young child.
there
It's
you go.
because
See,
they're going to say
how do I give this kid a
there's
bath?
no bathtub. But if you go to say a single person, mid 40s, maybe, or two people that are together and they're older and they don't want to bath. Now my daughter wants a bath, but most people don't care that they don't have a bathtub, and
Right.
that's exactly right. You need to see what your who your clientele will be, but you also want an exterior, correct? Like, if you sell jewelry, you want to see if you can reach out to the people that would buy those people jewelry, right?
Yes. Yes. 100%. Yeah. I'm not saying your client is one person.
Right.
I'm saying you have to figure out how you're going to sell to people that aren't your co leaders, I guess, people that are in your same field. So
Yes.
when you limit your connections to people that are in your same field, you're limiting getting to all those people that are going to buy for others, buy for anything, right? Birthday presents, anniversaries. Think of all those people that you're going to sell things to. Those are not the people that are also creating art. Some of them might be, and you might be lucky that way, right? Like, so
Yeah.
somebody that paints portraits may want someone's earrings. But for the most part, your clientele is outside of your artistic community.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at
Yes.
is to
Absolutely.
figure out who the person is that's going to buy your services. Or your tangible item, and I say services because I was just saying portrait.
Right.
Like I don't know. There's a bunch of crafters on here. I
So
don't
do you
know who
think
does what.
that basically crafters kind of make an echo chamber? It's really hard to kind of branch out to talk to other people. So if you're talking to like people, it's a comfort zone, but you're not actually progressing in your success of
Right.
a business. But it does that kind of make you even more depressed and upset because you're stuck. You're in your own little jail, sort of, not your own little uh, I guess sphere. But the more you're there, the less you're selling, and then you get depressed. Does that?
And I can see that. I can see that. And that's why I would recommend branching out and opening that community up a little bit more. Using things like Alignable, using things like um, uh, there's bizstorming.com is a great online community. New Reality will allow you to meet people from different groups. And the reason I say this is because everything you just listed is what every solopreneur goes through. We're just doing it in a different industry.
Yeah.
Okay. I um, I am in a consulting and coaching role. Okay, that's what I do. I can't tell you how many people have told me that's not a real job, right? And I can guarantee you, crafters are told that too by their family. You're never going to make this a real job, right? You're never going to make money off of this. How can you build a company off of that? You know what? Etsy. I'm just going to say
I
one
know.
word.
I know. I,
Okay.
I,
Like,
I
it's
think the problem is too, and this might be a little bit on the crafter's point of view. And Jeanette and I talk about this, and you just brought up a perfect point. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's a man listening
mhm,
or talking to you too, you have a craft, it's wonderful. Okay, there's the business side. And I know a lot of crafters don't like that side. I do not like that side. I have people calling me, "Where's your invoice? I can't pay you." I'm like, "I don't know. I'll just send you another book. I don't care. I just want to do it." So, what Sarah's talking about too is if you go outside your comfort zone, maybe you can find somebody that you can refer that helps you with your books, right?
100%.
So
100%.
so if you're having problems keeping track of your books, I had one lady that had her daughter. Her daughter was the crafter. The mom organized her. I'm just the opposite. My daughters organized me. But um, you're not going to find that with if you're in a crochet group and you're all crocheting, you're all in the same boat,
Right.
correct?
hmm But if you are, let's go with your crocheting and you make an amazing sweater and say, you know what? Every month I'm going to make you a brand new sweater if you help me with my accounting. And someday I'll make enough money to pay you real money. But for right now, can we barter? That you're going to get that with a larger community. You're not going to get that in the crochet circle,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Your knitting circle isn't going to want your sweater. They can make their own sweater.
Right.
But somebody outside of that, if you were like, I'll make you a new sweater once a month, if you handle my accounting for everything else, hey, that's not a bad deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if somebody would take it. I'm just saying it's a better
But you
deal.
know what? You'd be
Um,
surprised because and it's not even just for you. If they have kids or they want, if my
yeah,
sister, his birthday's coming up and I want to send her something special and I don't have time to really make her anything. And if I can get my work done, I'll this way, then you can barter the other way. And it just opens up the the range of people that are going to remember. We want everybody to know about you. So if
right.
one person tells two people, then two people tell two people, and so that the exponential growth is there and it's organic. It's not that you have to pay for it. It's not that you have to be on your computer all day. And I know, Sarah, we talked a little bit about some of the crafters aren't that, you know, um, handy with the social media.
Sure.
If they get with a group, um, then they're going to have a better opportunity to find people without having to post every 3 hours, which I don't know how
Yeah.
to do that.
But also, I'm probably gonna get, I don't know, slapped by the people who own social media, which is fine. But you don't have to be posting 2 to 3 times a day to be successful on social media. You have to post regularly and consistently. So if regularly for you is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you do that consistently, that's what's going to make people who engage with your posts see your posts on those days. Okay.
Got it.
So I need you to understand it's not about number of posts, it's about being consistent. So if you are posting 2 to 3 times a day and you skip a couple days, that totally messes with the algorithm worse than if you only posted 3 times a week. Okay.
That's so important right there, what you just said.
Say that
I
again.
didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So you want to just be consistent. Whenever you're going to start social media, just say, okay, I'm going to start with just posting on Mondays, right? And then when you get Mondays down pat, add another day to the week. Don't think I have to do it all at once. And also, don't think that nobody is seeing it if there's no engagement. It's still showing up in people's feeds. They're just not
Right.
necessarily clicking on it. So don't give up. It can take sometimes 3 to 6 months for actual consistency. And uh, Jeanette is posting. She says, I'm listening first, which is great. And then she's saying, I'm constantly posting, which is great. Yeah. If you can do it, if you have the ability to post consistently and constantly, that's wonderful. But if you're nervous about social media, that should not be your primary goal to just say, I'm going to go from 0 to 10 posts a day. You don't have to do that. And at the end here, I'm going to have my links. If somebody wants to grab time on my calendar to talk about that, I can walk you through some of that. And I'm willing to do some 15-minute options for the first few people that reach out.
That's awesome
So,
because that's another thing too. If you're Jeanette's awesome about posting, and
yes.
I've got so many things going that I'll think, oh my gosh, I haven't posted to this particular because I have my EveNest site for crafters, but then in my head I'm thinking I don't want crafters just to come to my website. I need buyers because
Right.
the buyers are going to buy from the crafters. So I set up another Facebook and Instagram, which is called EveNest Shop Local. Right, I want women to
Sure.
start thinking shop local, but I'll forget to post to that. So what I have to do, if I read you right, is set up a calendar. Do you hear that, Jeanette? Me on a calendar. Um, I have to set up a calendar. I'm going to post my books on this day, my cups this day,
Yeah.
my and then those are the days that I have to post. That's the best remedy, you think?
Correct. Yes. 100%. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to do it 0 to 60 in your first go around. You can say this month I'm going to start posting my books every Monday and get used to how social media works. And then next month I'm going to do Mondays and Wednesdays and I'm going to add my cups. Do you get my point? Because
Got it.
I know social media can be scary. So I know like you're in a step different than where I am, and we're all a step different than where Jeanette is. But
Such an overachiever.
she is. But for the people that are truly afraid and aren't really on social media, I want you to not be afraid and start slow. Um, and there's a million options for how to like set things up so it's kind of pre-scheduled and you only have to think about it once a month. Things like that. We can always show those options, and maybe that's something that I can kind of write up and put somewhere that people can see. More about consistency than anything. You
What we
both
could
have.
what we could do is do a Zoom, um, like Jeanette does it with alignables, but we could do it about posting. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
maybe do a social media quick thing where we invite people to come and ask questions and stuff like that. Some social media for beginners type things. And yes, we have jokes, Jeanette. I told you we would. You're not on the call, so if you were here to defend yourself, it'd be different.
what is she?
So
I'm gonna have to watch. I wasn't watching her on purpose because she's texting me, but she's yeah, she's being funny, that girl. Um, both have
but
jokes.
being a solopreneur in general is just hard, and I don't want anybody to live in a fantasy world that it's easy. You see all these people on social media saying, oh, 3 months and I was getting 8,000 clients a month, and all of these things, and it's like, no, you didn't. Okay, if you, maybe
I know.
you have a lot of money and bought lists, okay, but most people don't have that, right? And so those of us that are starting these things from scratch, which I did this a few years ago, and some of you are at different stages in this start process. Um, it doesn't have to be scary if you build a community around you of support. right? And I want to be very, very clear that that doesn't mean the people that are living with you. They're going to be supportive. They're going to be like, sure, take over the den again. Right? Oh, right. The basement is yours now because no one else can fit down there. Right? Okay, I get it, right? This happens. So your family is supportive in their own way, but you have to start looking for those people that know what you're going through with starting a business, doing the business side of it, and they can help you understand that while it's scary because it's new, it's not scary because it's hard. Okay. And I say hard because setting up an account like with QuickBooks or Square or wherever you want to set it up at is easy as setting up any other account. It's the long term, the patience, the work that it takes to go into things, the patience, if I didn't mention that, the you're not going to be a millionaire in 6 months. All of that has to happen. That's the hard work. The
Yeah.
hard work is the waiting and the doing and the everyday. It's not the setting up stuff. It's not the posting to social media. It's not all of that you can learn 100%. Uh, Maybe not one. I'll go with 5 to 99. Any age in there, maybe even three. They're using iPads now like better than I can.
No kidding. My
So
grandson.
right, exactly. So maybe 3 to 99, right? If you get to be 100, you don't get to start new businesses. You just need to help other people. So 100, you get to relax a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
So
I think it's going back to what we first started talking about. Um, First of all, I like the fact that you use the term leader instead of boss.
yeah,
Um, Boss is being used for women, like I'm the boss.
yeah,
And I think it's cute and it's quirky and it's kind of sticks, but if you're a gal out there and you're starting your own business and you're doing the creative part as well as the other stuff, eventually you're going to have to delegate.
yes,
Really don't want to be a boss. You want to be a person that's going to share your passion, find someone who's going to want to help you with that passion, and you're going to have to guide and inspire, and you're going to have a vision. Bosses to me don't have a vision. They're
bosses follow the rules and they
Yes,
make you do your job.
yes,
A leader inspires you to be a better person, to be a better worker, to be a better whatever you're trying to create. Um, Jeanette says you're her yang.
yeah. I just said hi. I call hi Yang. I go hi Yang. We're yin and yang together.
Um,
Exactly. You're
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And so when you start thinking of building your company, you want to be a leader in your field, you want to be a leader in your life, and you want to be a leader to those that are around you. You don't want to be, in my opinion, a boss because that is somebody that's telling people what to do. And you want to network and grow with people.
Exactly. And when I started my vision of what I wanted to do. I started it 15 years ago or more. And it's now morphing into something a little bit different. Jeanette and I've talked about this. This is also part of your head. So if you think your business is going one way and it starts to veer a different way, don't always fight it, because it may take you down a road that wasn't in the plans that you thought of, you know? I don't know if you can speak to that a little bit, but in your own experience, if that's been something that you've,
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So I started consulting and coaching about 11 years ago or so now. And I'll be honest with you, it was a side thing. And I was like, um, and I was really good at writing resumes.
wow,
So I would sit down with people and I would take all
that's
their information and I would write resumes. And people were actually paying me to do this, which was wonderful. Okay. Now we have AI to do all this, which is fine too. Uh, but I was like, oh, this is great. I want to be a career counselor. That's what I want to be. Like, like somebody that helps people with their careers, coach them, do that type of thing. And then I realized, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And I changed it a few times and I got to where I am now, to the point that I'm now matching my consulting and my coaching to my degree and the passions that I have in life. And when you first start a business, you're going to be like, wow, I love, and we're going to go back to crocheting. I love crocheting baby hats. Wonderful. Baby hats are amazing. You can make them numerous colors. You know what's going to happen though after a while is you're going to want to do something other than baby hats, because you are so sick of yellow baby hats that you want to start screaming. Okay. So then you got to think about, what do I want to branch out to? Do I want to stick with baby stuff? You know what I mean? And you got to start thinking of, what do I want to do? And if you get paid for what you want to do and what you enjoy, people are, number one, going to pay you more because they see your passion behind it. And number two, you're going to be happy. And I'm not trying to be some 70s hippie here, okay? I'm not going into everyone should be happy. But to a certain extent, if you hate what you're doing every day, stop doing it. Okay. And I
Yep.
don't mean quit your job. Don't think I meant quit your job. I'm looking big at the camera here. Quitting your job. I'm saying find a job that you love and then quit your job. Um, and it's
Important.
all about,
Important.
it really, really is. The job you hate is someone else's dream job, and you staying there is selfish. So if you want to start your own crafting business, your old solopreneur concept, you need to start doing it. And you can start doing it at night, on the weekends, whatever. But the quicker you quit the job you hate, is the quicker someone else's dream comes true.
That is so important. It is, again, you have to say that there's someone in your life that that's doing this, and
Hmm.
they they may like, I have crafted my whole life. I love it. I've done pretty much everything from mosaics to crocheting to sewing to quilting to, I do my own plumbing. Okay. But what
Oh,
I really like is the business end. And I like helping people. And I like looking at you and saying, I bet you'd be great at this. I like that.
yeah.
That's where I get my joy. And what I'm doing every day, I enjoy it because I get to see the people, but I don't want to do it for the rest of my life. I'm sitting with clients and all I can think of is, oh, I need to post this, or I need to do this, or I need to get this in the business. So um, it's something that I don't think is taught or shared with enough women.
And
Um,
that's why we need to keep the conversation going.
yes.
Unfortunately, we are getting called out by Jeanette. We're supposed to check our time.
Oh, I know. She's nagging. Okay, I know. I told you guys, Sarah, this is we we're going to have Sarah on again, and we're going to hopefully get some questions. And I know what she wants. So I told her I would read the word of the day,
Okay.
and we're gonna say our goodbyes after that. But this one is called "Don't Get Upset," and this happens to all of us in our heads, and this is works in for today's show. May
Perfect.
he grant you out of the rich treasury of his glory to be strengthened and reinforced with mighty power in the inner man by the Holy Spirit, indwelling your innermost being and personality. It's Ephesians 3:16. So in this passage, they're talking about the devil, the bad part of our lives gets us upset, wants us to be upset. We get ugly, throw fits, ruining our lives, basically,
Right.
because if you let that simmer, it's going to hurt. Um, so you ruin the witness of what God has done in our lives. Without God's love flowing through us, it is hard to be nice to nice people, let alone to treat difficult people nicely. We need God's help to live well. The Holy Spirit will give you the power to walk in love everywhere you go. Don't leave home without inviting Him to fill you with the grace to demonstrate God's love and compassion towards everyone you meet. So I have that experience every day. I try to remember that if I run into someone who's a cranky butt, I'm like, wow, I don't really want to deal with this person. And crafters, we run into that all the time. The customer that's complaining, or you didn't get something in and you're upset, and then you have to talk to another person. I just dial it back a little bit, and I realize that maybe this person is going through something that I don't know about. Something happened just before I got there, and I always try to give a little grace to them. And you know what? If I say a few kind words to them, usually they come around, and they soften a little bit, because they've built up this wall of anger or resentment for something that's, you're like, I just got here, right? Um,
90% of people that are mad, unless you have a teenager in your house, they're
yeah,
probably mad at you. But 90% of people mad are not mad at the person they're talking to right then. And even if you did something to trigger that madness for some reason, it 95% of the anger is because 22 things have happened to them that day, and you were just the last straw.
and
And
crackers
mhm,
every day you wake up and you plan your day, and the day doesn't go the way you think it should go or the way you planned it, and you get upset, and then that triggers you to be um, not, not graceful or gracious. And
right,
what it also does is it takes away your creative spirit. So if you're upset or angry, what Jeanette does when she feels out of sorts is she goes back and crafts. She goes back to basics, right? So find something that soothes you. Do the self-soothing thing. If it's writing, for me, I have different things that I do if I don't feel like doing something else. And I'm sure, Sarah, you have things that you know, you don't.
So for me, it's not my business crafting. So my outlets are doing those things. I will literally throw on something on the BBC and I'll just paint and
Yep.
mess up the whole basement, and then yeah. So
And get in trouble for it.
I stopped getting in trouble a long time
I love
ago.
that.
Um, so
I do. And sometimes, I always try to do it when I'm really upset. I'll try something brand new,
sure,
um, that maybe I haven't done, because it takes your mind away. You really have to focus on doing something new. And so you all of a sudden your mind is going, wow, how would I do this, and then you've forgotten what you're upset about. So let
that
grace
works.
be into your life as a creative spirit, as a person that brings joy and happiness to other people with your hands, and your mind. And Sarah just brought us so many important things. We could go on for days, guys. We're going to have her on again. I hope some of these issues are things that you've at least thought about, or have boggled back and forth in your mind. And we're going to see you all again next week. Jeanette will be with us next.
Yes. And next week I'm going to tease her if she goes 1 minute over.
I know, right?
So
she's
I'm just saying, I'm gonna be in that chat being like, "Oh, time."
she's got her watch. She's ready. But
Uh-huh.
we're also coming up with another show, so hopefully we'll be able to do it. And if y'all are on here, make sure you watch us on a repeat, so you get information if you didn't write it down before. But we're going to try to work out a Zoom thing so Sarah can give us some really good tips on social media, which
Sounds
is
good.
a huge thing. Okay. So Sarah, thank you so much for being with
Thank
me.
you. It was
And
wonderful chatting.
and she's so helpful. I didn't feel like I was gonna screw up, but let's see what happens. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.